onke ama-councillors alapha ngibonge futhi kuba khona leaders from business who are also here amongst us. We often want all the key role players to be amongst us umasibamba Imbizo. So kuyinjabulo enkulu kimi ukuthi today we also have leaders from business. But I'm also particularly pleased that we also have leaders and members of trade unions bakhona la phakathi kwethu and baveze imibuzo ethize which we will address. Ngibonge futhi a number of non-governmental organizations that are here as well. So Imbizo lena, much as we had technical difficulties, it is a well-represented Imbizo. Ngiyanibonga again nabantu bala eThekwini ukuthi already you are having in the 7th administration the very first Imbizo, but one of the best Imbizos we have had because kugcwele abantu abangaka. Ngiyabonga ukuba khona kwenu lapha. Yebo ningazishayela izandla futhi ngoba you are well represented in this Imbizo. Ngithanda ukuqala ngokuthi ngibize ongqongqoshe before ngiphawula lapho nalapho kwezinye izinto ezibalulekile esifana ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi simtshele ngazo. Ngithanda ukubiza ongqongqoshe of a number of departments at national level ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi baphendule eminye imibuzo ebekwe lapha. Kodwa ngizoqala ngopremier wethu. Upremier uye wakwazi ukuthi amamele kahle imibuzo eqondane nezinto abazisebenzayo lapha eKZN. Ngizobiza yena of course zikhona izinto ezithize afana ukuthi ake aphawule kuzo lapho nalapho. And umeya wethu naye ngizambiza, but ngizambiza on specific issues at a later stage. Premier Ntuli ngicela nje ukuthi ubambe lapho nalapho kulezinto ezivezwe lapha uphinde futhi ubeke naloko okunye bozokubeka before imic isihlupa. Ngiyathemba ukuthi le mic iyasebenza manje. Le yami iyasebenza. Le ka president iyasebenza. Angazi ke ukuthi le ka premier iyasebenza na. Ake uyizame.
Siyathokoza kakhulu isiyasebenza mongameli. Siyathokoza kakhulu umhlonishwa umongameli ebese ngimbingelelile ekuqaleni. Ngikhuleka emakhosini aseNdlunkulu njengoba ngikhulekile ekuqaleni uminister wakaKhokta nominister in the office of the president umhlonishwa umeya walapha eThekwini umhlonishwa ngqongqoshe bakazwelonke namaphini abo nongqongqoshe baKwaZulu-Natal bonke no DG nabasebenzi bonke abakhona kanye nomphakathi wonke okhona abefundisi nabo ngiyabingelela. Mhlonishwa umongameli ngizophawula nje okuthatha kuphela bese angazi ke oMC mawukuthi bafisa nabo babone ngazi ukuthi ngiyanyalate kakhulu ukuthi upresident yothini kuloko Ngizophawula udaba lokuqala lobugebengu. Ukhona uminister wamaphoyisa. Kodwa as the province sine role to play odabeni lobugebengu. Ingakho sinomnyango waka community safety and liaising. Okuhle kakhulu cishe ukubambisana okhona umnyango kazwelonke nesifundazwe neTheku njengoba sesayine nesivumelwano. Ngiyethemba ukuthi niyoba ofakazi ukuthi imizamo yokulwa nobugebengu KwaZulu-Natal ibukeka ngazi ukuthi amaphoyisa anyusile ukusebenza kwawo. Igebengu is either zingene ezitokisini noma ingene emgodini lezi suke idubula amaphoyisa. Manje ke sizama ngayo yonke indlela kodwa into esemqoka kakhulu ukuthi sengathi ngaloko kushayela amaphoyisa ihlombe nathi sibambe lethi iqhaza ukuba la kunobugebengu khona sibike. Ngiyazi ukuthi uminister wamaphoyisa uzokuphendula okuqondene nomnyango wakhe ngqo. Kodwa ezingeni lethu njengesifundazwe ukuthi sonke asisukumeni sithi emphakathini lahlala khona siyahlangana siyabambisana ukubambisana namaphoyisa ukuze siqede ubugebengu. Sinohlelo ke olunye lokuzama ukulekelela isimo sabantu abasha abahleze emakhaya engekho amathuba. Sabeka ke imali engango 100 million yokulekelela intsha lena esemabhizinisini nefuna uqala amabhizinisi. Bese kuvaliwe ke uma kuphela uOctober. Kodwa sesi-extendile sesikovalwa ukuphela kaNovember. Makukhona abantu abasha abasemabhizinisini nabafuna ukungena emabhizinisini. Salontsha ifund ka 200 million yabantu besifazane abangena emabhizinisini. Esicela ukuthi ngoba sathi ukusebenza kwethu ikakhulukazi siyongena ngomasipala. Komasipala kunamakhansela ke aziyona ukuthi kuze axhumanise nina kanye nathi njengohulumeni sifundazwe ikuphi okuyokwenzeka. Inhlelo lezi zokuthuthukisa amakhono iminyango kahulumeni inazo inhlelo zokuthatha intsha banikezwe ama skills abahlukahlukene nakhona ezingweni lethu esifundazwe ezinye ezisuke ifandwa uhulumeni kwazwelonke. Mhlawumbe kunodaba lwezindlu noma ekhona ungqongqoshe wezindlu kazwelonke kodwa nami ukhona owami walapha esifundazweni umhlonishwa uDuma engicabanga ukuthi mongameli ukwazile ukurecorda ukuregister iconcern edinga ukuba kusondelwane ke nomphakathi ilandeleleke kahle ukuze kubuka ama specifics akhona bese kazi ukuthi ku-addresswe wona. Kodwa mina njengopremier ngiyobe sengithi ku-MEC odabeni lwezindlu ngoba besibhala ukuthi luthinta ziphi indawo nginikeza ireport ukuthi usuhambe wafikaphi ngoba zikhona izisebenzi la zaseyindlini ezisebenza ka-human settlement. Kumsebenzi wazo ukuthi ngenkathi sinahlukana zakhe uhlelo lokusondela ukuze MEC ezokwazi uba nombiko ophelele uma sengithi akaphenduleke ukuthi kulolu daba usambe wabheka kuphi. Ngibona ukuthi ilokho ikakhulukazi obekuthinta iprovince kodwa engaqinisekisa izolo sibe nomhlangano nomongameli wezwe abethe ucela ukusibona njengecabinet yaKwaZulu-Natal. Sizibeke zonke izinkinga futhi bakomitha nongqongqoshe ukuba bayithathile lezi zinkinga ekade nizibeka ezinye ikakhulukazi lezi zakwa education nje sibekile nazo esikuthokozele kakhulu kwelokubambisana phakathi kahulumeni kazwelonke nohulumeni wesifundazwe okusinikeza ke ithemba lokuthi kuzoba khona i-intervention kuzoba khona ukungenelela ukuze kwazi xazululeka some of the problems. Kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi ongqongqoshe bakhona bazophendula nabo ngendlela yabo kodwa bengifuna ukubeka ukuthi enikubekayo okuningi sikwazile nathi on behalf of you uma umongameli sinikeza ithuba njengohulumeni wesifundazwe ukuthi sibeke ukuthi nazi izinkinga ezibhekene nabantu bakwaZulu-Natal esifisa ukuthi uma umongameli engenelela necabinet bakwazi ukusondela basilekelele. Ngiyazi ukuthi mongameli lembizo yanamhlanje ekamongameli nathi njengohulumeni wesifundazwe siyanikweleta ukuthi size nalapha kini sizoba nembizo. Sesibe nayo eMgungundlovu, saba nayo eMkhanyakude. Kodwa siyanikweleta nani ngoba ngabe sesibe nayo la wathi umongameli mayethu uzoza sathi hayi asinikeze umongameli qala ithuba. Kodwa sizobuya nathi sizohlala phansi sizoxoxa okusekusiza ke thina ngoba sesobuya sesinezimpendulo ngoba okuningi sesikuzwile namhlanje sesobuya sesikwazi ukusho ukuthi kulokhu nalokhu nakho okuzanywayo sibeke nane inhlelo zesifundazwe eyikhona kwi7th administration engenxa yesimo sanamhlanje ngoba nibonile ukuthi nebe ngizokubeka kuphelele kodwa umbhobho ubulokhu unyakaza ngazo sonke isikhathi sizolisebenzisa ke ithuba lokuba sizoxoxa nje ngeinhlelo zesifunda saKwaZulu-Natal ziphelele zonke ukuthi nakho sekwenzakalile nazo ezinye inhlelo eyikhona. Ngiyathokoza kakhulu mongameli.
Siyabonga kakhulu Premier. Premier uqinisile ukuthi izolo sibe nomhlangano phakathi kwa-hulumeni at national level nohulumeni wethu lapha at provincial level. Sadlula futhi saba nomunye umhlangano nemetro yethu lapha eThekwini nabanye ke abasomabhizinisi kule working group engayiqamba ukuthi ibhekisise kahle inkinga ezikhona lapha eThekwini. So we had 3 meetings yesterday just focusing on challenges zalapha eKZN broadly and also challenges zalapha eThekwini. Inkinga eyavezwa ziningana nama projects amaningi amanye ngizokhuluma ngawo later kodwa leye education neye health eseyivezwe la iye yaxoxwa nayo saxoxa futhi ngama challenges esinawo ebudget and izocela uminister we basic education eze azochaza ukuthi iprocess esizawuembaka kuyo injani na. Iprovince ithe mayiveza inkinga ze education lapha eKZN sabona ngempela ukuthi you have serious challenges. Uminister we finance wayekhona usandokuhamba khona manje ngoba wayegijimela kwenye indawo wayezochaza kahle ukuthi i-challenge ye-budget ye-education ime njani na and futhi nokuthi almost 87% of i-budget it goes towards paying salaries. Kusale imali encane to do goods and services. Kodwa yebo uye wavuma naye ukuthi yes i-budget yehlile inciphiswe ukuthi nationally i-revenues zethu imali engenayo ye-tax nayo yonke imali esitholayo seyehlile kodwa isinika inkinga enkulu when it comes to education and health. Siqede ngokuthi kufanele la eKZN ukuthi sibhekisise kahle lenkinga esibhekane nayo ye-education neye-health. Nayo uminister we-health uminister Mtshwaledi uzawuma kancane naye la achaze some of the challenges nokuthi senzani ngale nkinga esibhekane nazo. kodwa okwamanje omangichaze le yeBella Act. IBella Act ngisayinile ukuthi kube umthetho welizwe. Ngashiya those two clauses ukuthi kuxoxwe ngazo and ingxoxo ziyaqhubeka njengamanje. Kodwa ngibeke i-termination date yalezo discussions ukuthi those discussions must come to an end at the end of December. If kungenasivumelwano, i-act le iyonke, it's immediately activated. The minister has started to implement the Bella Act, as she will explain. And ngizafuna ukuthi simnike ithuba lokuthi ayichaze kahle. I know ukuthi there are interests lapha, and it's important ukuthi kube ne explanation ukuthi senzani na at the national level. So iBella Act is being implemented except for those two, and lapho ngibeke i-date sekusele literally just 6 weeks. If kungenasivumelwano, iBella Act iya-activatwa iyaphambili. If kunesivumelwano, then sizawubheka ukuthi leso sivumelwano sizawuqhubeka kanjani na. So I just want ukuthi we must be clear about that. Ngizawubiza uMinister wamaphoyisa kuqale yena eze ngaphambili ngoba into yobugebengu, crime, has been raised by abantu abaningi, and ikhona imisebenzi yenziwayo njengamanje. Khuphuka Minister, imisebenzi ebonisayo kahle ukuthi we are focused on fighting crime, and kunezinto eziningi kakhulu lapha eKZN esizenzayo ukulandelana nezigebengu. Izolo kule mhlangano, khuphuka Minister, khuphuka. Izolo kule mhlangano ebesinawo nalaba basoma business baye bathi bayabona ukuthi now the criminals are on the run, and it's no longer our people, particularly women and young children, who are on the run. And uMinister uzawuchaza kahle ngemisebenzi esiyenzayo. Minister Senzo Mkhunu, chaza ke.
Thank you very much, Mongameli. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. All protocols observed. My number one question, a crime yalapha Umgababa, la khona abafana abadla iwunga bahambe beyokwenza izinto engekho emthethweni kubantu balapha Umgababa phansi kwenkosi uLthuli. Bathi ke bahlushwa isiteshi
Khawume kancane Minister. Kune conference enkulu eqhubayo ngale. Labo bantu abafuna ukumamela lento oyikhulumayo. Ngizathi awume baqede lo mhlangano abanawo. Bazawuthi mabeqedile befuna ukukumamela. Ngizawuthi qhuba ke uye phambili. Ngoba bona bazimisela ukuthi lokhu esize ngakho la abafuna ukuthi kuye phambili balethe iconference yabo. So ngifuna nje sibanike ithuba bayiqede yonke le conference. Bayenza ama resolutions wabo, bakhethe no president wabo. Mhlambe bazawuba ne cabinet yabo ne premier yabo. Bathi mabeqedile then uzawuqhubeka ke njengominister wami wamaphoyisa. Hayi kwangathi phelile le conference. Qhubeka ke Minister.
Okokuqala udadewethu ngihlalile naye la uma eseqedile ukukhuluma ngalandela kahle ukuthi yini le akhuluma ngayo wayichaza ukuthi cha bakhona abafanyana abahluphayo la abadliwunga bese beyahlupha endaweni ngase ke ngicela ukuthi asinikeze ama case numbers wonke amacala avuliwe evulelwa lezi gebengu la endaweni ngiwalindileke lama case numbers azofika mhlawumbe kancane makuphela imbizo sizowathatha lama cases wonke ngiwanikeza uGeneral Mkhwanazi uCommissioner weProvince uma sengimnikezile sizovumelana ngeinsuku la khona ezokwazi ukuvakashela laba bavulelwe lamacala kanjalo nalabo abahandlisha lamacala o investigating officers bese sihlangana ngalabo abavulelwe amacala kobe sekuphuma ianswer ke lapho ngeke ngaphuma so udadewethu ke asilinde kancane ngoba sizawenza lo msebenzi kukhona ke okhale ngobugebengu mongameli lapha eMalukazi ubhekisisa Gumede sizoke siyibona indaba yaseMalukazi iyasihlupha yona kanye nomlazi nje wonke kodwa ke kukhona okuzayo angeke ngisho manje ukuthi inezayo ngoba imininingwane yakhona sisayikhulume nje no National Commissioner wamaphoyisa uGeneral Masimula osekusele ukuthi sizohlangana no Provincial Commissioner ukuze sikwazi ukuyibopha sizobopha itulo labo bonke laba bantu abagangayo lapha eMlazi nakwezinye indawo bobona maseliboshiwe ukuthi yilo lelitulo ebengikhuluma ngalo la uma ngabe selibathinta ngendlela lobathinta ngayo mangidlule isecurity ezikoleni kuyakhalo lapho ukuthi akumile kahle ezikoleni manje ke ngizacela ukuthi ngithi ukuhlangana lo mhlambe emva kwalokho nomphathiswa wezikole ngoba abaphathiswa bezikole kuyibona abaphethe izikole abakasho ukuthi babona ukuthi inkinga zabo ezikoleni ngoba ezeyikole singabambisana kanjani ukuyixazulula lezo nkinga uma kuukuthi abakwazi ukuqasha ama security kodwa ke ianswer iyophuma lapho siwilling ukuthi sisebenze nabo kodwa kukhona okwenzakalayo ukuthi ipolice station ke police station iyalelwe icountry yonke njengomgomo ukuthi bothintana nezikole ezikhona endaweni ukuze kulekelelwe kodwa kuyabonakala ukuthi kuya ngokuya kungabi into eqinile evikela othisha ivikele nabantwana ezikoleni kodwa sizoyilungisa sizobhekana nayo bese kuthi elandelayo indaba yakwamakhutha epolice station eWard 94 ukuthiwa ke lesiteshi ayisixeka kakhulu sesisidala sasakhiwe ngezakhiwo zokubambisa usifakazile ke uCommissioner Mkhwanazi ukuthi siyahlupha sona sizosibukela eduze ke ukuthi sisimisa kanjani ngoba kusho ukuthi sifuna ukwakhiwa kabusha ngiyabonga ubusisiwe bhaqwa ukuthi uyingxenye yama CPS kufanele ukuthi nenze kanjalo nonke okugcina ke ngapha ngakuthina sifike lapha ekuseni mongameli kunenkinga phakathi kwamaphoyisa nenhlangano yothisha nami ngangiyilunga layo isathu manje ke sase sivumelana ukuthi hayi ngoba sonke singama professionals amaphoyisa ngapha othisha ngapha futhi sama civil servants sonke hayi asehlisa imoya sase sixazulula le yankinga ilo moya kufanele usebenze yonke indawo sikhombisa leadership siyabonga kakhulu mongameli ngoba inkinga ixazulekile siyabonga
Siyabonga Minister, ngiyabonga. Ngibonge kakhulu. Premier wethu naye uyishilo lento yokuthi kufanele ukuthi singumphakathi sikwazi ukuthi sisebenzisane namaphoyisa kakhulu kulama community policing forums ngoba iprogress abayibonayo ukuthi manje umphakathi sowusebenza kakhulu namaphoyisa namaphoyisa uma ebona ukuthi umphakathi uzimisele kakhulu ukulwisa ubugebengu nabo bathola umdla kakhulu babe more committed babe more active and masiba support sisebenze nabo ngendlela zonke. Ngizawubiza uMinister Kwahube azochaza ukuthi lezi zinto ezivezwe la ze basic education zazenza njani, and on her heels ngizafuna uMinister Nkabane eze ngoba kube na le issue ye higher education naye asondele ukuthi azochaza because the two really go together. Kunomfo oye waphakama lapha and he spoke about both issues of basic education as well as higher education in relation to the skills. And thereafter ngizawubiza uMinister Nyontsho azokhuluma ngendaba yomhlaba. Kubuzwe umbuzo o direct ukuthi sizoyenza kanjani na le nto yomhlaba. So that's my lineup, and I will continue identifying those who must answer. Kuma ministers akhona ngifuna bazilungise nabo njengoba nami ngiyazilungisa ukuthi bakwazi ukuphendula imibuzo ephuma kumphakathi. Minister Kwahube.
Ndiyabulela mongameli, ndiyabulisa kubantu bonke abalapha namhlanje. Zimbalwa izinto mongameli ekufuneka ndiziphendulile. Okokuqala ndithi maniqinisekisa apha endlini enkulu into yobana siyi-7th administration sixabise kakhulu indaba yemfundo. Yiyo loo nto izolo umongameli uye wabiza intlanganiso edibanisa uNational Cabinet neProvincial Cabinet emamela into yobana zintoni na ingxaki esinazo apha eKwazulu-Natal ezidibene ne-education in particular. Bayichaza ke uPremier wayicacisa into yobana eyona ngxaki esinayo apha eKwazulu-Natal yinto ngoba kungabikho kwemali.
Awume kancane. Nina eniphethe ama-placard sengiwafundile. Ngiwazi kahle wonke lama-placard ngoba uMinister uyaphendula wabonile naye futhi beniwayenzele mina ngoba imbizo yami le akusiyona imbizo kaMinister. Ngicela niwabeke phansi ngiwabonile. Abekeni phansi ma comrade. Ama pamphlet mama placard mawaye phansi. No, singayenzi njalo. No. uMinister ngizomisa angaphenduli until sikwazi ukuthi emhlanganweni sikwazi ukuthi sisebenzisane kahle. Ngimile kuleyo ndawo. Masiwabeke phansi, sihlale phansi akwazi ukuphendula ngoba ikhona enye into engifuna ukunitshela yona. Ngakumbi wena sisiwami noma Russia. Ngifuna uku-addressa wena kwawena. Bekani phansi ama pamphlet. Ayihlale phansi bamba umthetho. Okay. Anifuni ke impendulo ephuma on education Sizayishelva ke ngizaniphendula ngelinye ilanga ngoba nibonisa kahle ukuthi aniyifuni leyo mpendulo. Anifuni impendulo and kusho ukuthi anifuni ukuthi nginichazele ukuthi sizowenzani na. Ngoba izolo mamelani. Izolo iadvantage ebekhona ukuthi we were able to get a full and deeper explanation about the challenges the education lapha eKZN. Basichazele kahle ukuthi kwenzekani. Kodwa ke ngiyayinotha lento yama pamphlet wenu, that's fine. Sengiwafundile, ngiwastudishile, ngingabhala neexam ngawo. Ngipase kahle. Qhuba minister.
Ndiyabulela mongameli. Enye into ndiyacinga mongameli into bana kubalekile bandiphendule ngoba kukhona abantu abasemakhaya abafuna ukuyiva lempendulo. So kuyanyanzeleka into ba singajongi nje abantu abalapha eholweni, sicingele nabo abafuna uyazi into bana sizayifanda njani na indaba yemfundo apha eKwaZulu-Natal. Njengoba sitsho kumongameli uyibizile le bilateral meeting eyibizela into bana efuna uqonda into bana yintoni ingxaki elapha eKwaZulu-Natal. Wayichaza ke upremier kwaye no-MEC wakhe into bana kukhona ingxaki ye-budget constraints esinazo apha in the province. Kamnandi wabe ekhona uminister we-finance, uminister Godongwana neteam yakhe bamamela into bana zintoni na ekufuneka sizenzile uku-improve imfundo apha eKwaZulu-Natal. Into endiyivuyileyo ke mongameli is that la meeting had an outcome, and the outcome was as simple as this, that in the next 3 months before umphathiswa wezemali adeliverishe ibudget yakhe, sizawuthetha-thethana neprovince sibone into bana sibonelelo sini na esinosenza for abantu baseKwaZulu-Natal. Ngoba kaloku siyayazi KwaZulu-Natal has one of the largest numbers yabafundi. Sifuna uqinisekisa into bana kukhona ootishara ezikolweni, sifuna uqinisekisa into bana bayatya abantwana ezikolweni, sifuna uqinisekisa into bana bayakhwela imoto, iskola transport abantwana uya ezikolweni. Yilento esifuna uyenza apha eKwaZulu-Natal. Sizawusebenzisana naye uMEC Hlomuka, sizawusebenzisana naye upremier, siqinisekise into abantwana baseKZN bathi taken care of. Eyona nto ebalulekileyo ndicinga fanuba unoma Russia ebeyibabaza president yindaba yokubana yokungafandwa kwezikolo according to norms and standards. And leyo yinto uMEC asithembisileyo into bana uzayihoya. Akayihoyi ehamba yedwa ke mongameli, uyihoya simncedisa, encediswa ndim, mna mphathiswa wezemfundo, encediswa ngumphathiswa wezemali. Asiyiyekelelanga le province. Sizawuqinisekisa into abantwana balapha kweli phondo bayayifumana imfundo abafana bayayifumana. Umfundisi uRev Mkhwanazi mongameli uthethe ngendaba ye-dropout rate yaseMlazi district. I've already asked abantu be-office into bana ba-followisha up naye. But ndifuna ukuthi kumfundisi into bana the reason why sisithi kwisebe lezemfundo into bana we don't want to just rely on the academic stream. We want to make sure into bana there's also skills ezi-introducewayo ezikolweni. Senzele into bana abantwana bangafoswa into bathi drop out. Ubangaba umntu is not academically strong, akwazi into ba ayo acquireisha skills ukwenzela ba azofumana imisebenzi. Yiyo loo nto ke ngoku sisithi njengoba kule 7th administration sizawujonga into ba sizawuinvesta njani na in schools of skills. In fact mongameli izolo bendiye kwisikolo se marine and apho bakha khona upremier no-MEC bazasivule so skolo, and it's about a marine and ocean economy. And ndiyayivuyela loo nto leyo ithetha ukuthi iprovince into bena izawufundisa abantu abazawukwazi uphinda basebenze kwalapha kweli phondo. And then okokugqibela Mongameli uthethe ngento yoba mandicacise into yoba iBela Act sime phi kuleyo. Njengoba umongameli ebecacisile njengoba siyafunda apha iBela Act ayiseyiyo iBela Bill ayiseyiyo iBill seyi-act now. Isayiniwe iBill ngumongameli sesiqalile silisebe lezemfundo ukuyi-implementa iBela Act. Ngoba ngaba because ezi 2 clauses sesuspendiwe it doesn't mean into yoba umsebenzi wo-implementa awenzeki. In fact ii-officials zakwa-DBE ezilapha zinganichazela into yobana kwa ii-officials zalapha eKZN seziqalile ukwenziwa ii-workshops mongameli ukwenzela bazoyazi uba maba-implemente njani. Okokugqibela kukuthi sibambisene singurhulumente we-Government of National Unity. Sibambisene kwaye sinihloniphile sifuna uqinisekisa into yobana isebe lezemfundo liyawukhuphuka umgangatho wemfundo apha eMzantsi Afrika. Ndicinga uba ndiwagqibile mongameli.
Very good, very good. Siyabonga. Uma uMinister Nkabani esazilungisa bengifuna ukuthi usisi wami noma India noma Russia baningi labo noma India noma Russia kodwa ke akekho unoma Cyril ngisamlindile ukuthi abe khona. Usisi wami unoma Russia, you raised a very important point esiye saxoxa ngayo izolo, and that showed the value of the national government and the provincial government meeting together for a number of hours, talking about a number of intricate issues that affect the work of government in the province. One of the key issues they raised is the differentiation of the funding of schools, some of the quintile schools in KZN as opposed to the national norm. We found Uguti, some of the quintile schools are funded at a lower level. And the point that you raised, Siswami Noma Russia, and it's a matter that I did say needs to be attended to. So we are going to address it, and as you heard, in the 3 months prior to the budget, we are going to address this. To what extent do we address that issue? Because that is a serious problem that is affecting the delivery of education here. And it was raised more prominently. Minister Nkabane, Minister of Higher Education and Training.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Ndizibulisele nje kubantu bonke baKwaZulu-Natal abakhona kule Imbizo kaMr. President. Ndizawuqala ngicacise nje ukuba kule question about skills ebeyiraiswe ngubhuti apha phambi kwethu. Urhulumente wase South Africa yona nto ayi-attenda ngokukhulu ukukhawuleza. Njengoba siyazi uba i-existence yethu as higher education and training no basic education si derive from section 29 of the Constitution of the Republic, which is our obligation uqinisekisa ukuthi abantu bakuthi bayakwazi uba bakwazi ungena esikolweni bafunde, and bayakwazi futhi ukuthi bavumeleke ukuba baqhubeke nezimfundo zabo ukuya kumabanga aphezulu lokwesithi further education esiprovidayo ke thina kwi-PSET sector. So ithi i-constitution urhulumente wethu makayenze within reasonable measures, kusho ukuthi ngamandla akwaziyo ukuthi amelane nawo nangomthamo akwazi ukuthi amelane nawo. That's why ke siye saba ne-program upresident aye wayipasisa kwi-cabinet ekuthiwa i-comprehensive student funding model esithi kuyo kuzawuba khona this project esibiza ngokuthi NSFAS yabantwana abakwazi ukuthi baxhamle abasuka kuma-families afumana within ngonyaka only 350,000 per annum. Then kubese kube khona laba uplus esibafake kwicategory bebengakhavarishwanga by NSFAS Act, sabafaka kwicategory esibiza ngoba missing middle. So kunemali ayewayibeka ecaleni umongameli ukuba abantu bakuthi baqhamleke kulelo hlelo esibhizi lulo namhla kulonyaka elizawuqala uba active for next year. But ingxaki esijongene nayo, we only have 130,000 abantu abakwazi uku-aplya kulalwaluhlu. Esicela abantu bethu bagqugquzele abantu bakhona ekuhlaleni uba nalo uhlelo eluzovala le gap ebesiyi-identifyile, so that bonke abantu baseMzantsi Afrika bezawukwazi ukuthi baqhamle kule program kahulumeni anayo oqinisekisa ukuthi akekho umuntu ovaleleka ngaphandle ngoba engenayo imali yokungena ahamba yofunda. Sithi masikuveze nje ukuba sesayivula ke program, ivuliwe ngomhla ka-20 September, i-application process iyavalwa ngo-15 December, and le program because sifuna ukwazi ukuprojecta for the next financial year ukuba uhulumente imalini kahle kahle unyaka mali ekufuna abe nayo for i-NSFAS. So we're saying wonke umuntu from grade 9 to grade 12 usengayiqalisa i-application process, so that sizawukwazi babangapha abantu abafuna ukuxhamla kwezinhlelo esinazo. Kulonyaka nje sinemali engango-49 billion that esispende for this program, and abantu bakuthi babenefitile noba sizama ukulungisa phaya naphaya ezinye zezingxaki esijongene nazo. Upresident uphinde wavula olunye uhlelo alubiza ngokuthi i-Just Energy Transition, wadibanisa bonke ominister abathile uba majonge le program ubhuti bethetha ngayo ukuba zeziphi izskills of the future that we need to focus on as government. Ezi programs ubhuti bethetha ngazo ze-renewable energies, it's amongst the programs and qualifications that we want to focus on, so that abantu bakuthi xa ngaba beqeqeshwa ezikoleni baqeqeshelwe ama-programs are in need kwi-economy, so that singezukuthi sikhuphe umuntu agqibanga be employable, siclose leya gap ye-skills mismatch. So sinaleyo portfolio esiranayo zi-department esinikwe uMr President ayibiza nge-Just Energy Transition Skills Portfolio. So as the department sifocuse apho, sicela wonke umuntu asondele kulo program. Uzuqonde sithe kwa human settlement apha KwaZulu-Natal sathumela imali engango-123 million for learnership programs, so that abantwana beza access ama-practical skills. Ama-beneficiaries alo program as about 2,000. Minister MEC uDuma uzawurana lo program nje, izawusinceda ngama-technical skills, masijonge nje lekufutshane. And apha eThekwini singumnyango sine-projects ezu-59 ezala eThekwini ezawubenefitha abantu abatsha, esizawucela nje sibambisene nomeya kube nendlela bazicoordinate-ke, so that bonke abantu bakuthi bezawuxhamla sibhalansise i-access ne-success, because asifuna ukukhupha umuntu kungekho clear exit strategy ekugqibeleni. Enkosi kakhulu.
So Kati. Okay. Ngizawubiza uMinister Nyontsho akhulume ngendaba yomhlaba, remembering ukuthi noNkosi uShinga raised the issue uma eyenza inkulumo yakhe, nabanye baye raise into yomhlaba. Nomunye wakaShinga naye uyiraisile lento. Masike sikuzwe ke Minister.
Enkosi, Mr President, ngikubulise ndikhahlele wonke umuntu lapha. Mr President, umhlaba siyawubuyisa kuba i-direct question ibithi kumaxa siphi nobuyisa umhlaba. Sesiqalile President ubuyisa umhlaba kwaye sesiqalile nalapha KwaZulu-Natal. Kwiiveki ezintathu ezidlulileyo eNewcastle sigqithise nge-land title deeds eziyi-36 and loo nto iamounte ku-20,000 hectares of land. Nangoku President sizawusa umhlaba for i-restitution emathontsini community, amahlubi community, St. Paul, and lo umhlaba wenza 10,000 hectares. Into ngoku President esiyixoxayo sine-strat plan kule veki, into esibiza i-post settlement support. Ukuba abantu xa sibanikile umhlaba masibanike imali yokusebenza umhlaba. Kuba xa sinika abantu umhlaba singabaniki imali bayawuthengisa okanye umhlaba uhlale nje ungenzi into. Ngoku sifuna ubanika inkxaso ukwenzela uba singafidi thina kwi-narrative ethi abantu abamnyama abakwazi ufamisha. Also Mongameli, njengoba betshilo usihlalo ukuthi umhlaba bayawufuna bezinkosi, siyawudlulisa ke umhlaba i-state land sizasayina sisigqithise kubo abantu, kodwa kakhulu sisebenza kuphuhliso lwamaphandle, rural development, ukwenzela uba abantu basebenzise lo mhlaba abanawo baveza amathuba omsebenzi kwezi ndawo bahlala kuzo, abantu bangahambi bawufuna umsebenzi ezidorophini ukhona umhlaba benowusebenzisa. Siyayenza loo nto Mongameli, sisebenza nawo amakhosi, sisebenza nazo ii-communities, sisebenza nazo ii-CPAs, sisebenza nazo ezi-trusts, umhlaba wona sesiqalisile ukuwubuyisa. Enkosi Mongameli.
Enkosi, siyabulela. Siyabulela Minister. Thank you. Ngizawubiza ke uMinister we-Public Works and Infrastructure ozawuza azophendula ngalolu daba lwe-EPWP, aphendule ukuthi acacise kahle ukuthi kwenzekani nge-EPWP. Uma eqeda ukuphendula ngizawubiza uMinister wezindlu, uMinister of Housing Settlements, eze naye azophendula ngalezi yezindlu eziwayo nabanye abadinga izindlu abangazitholi. After that, uMinister we-Tourism naye uzawuza ngoba i-tourism lapha e-KZN kakhulu lapha eThekwini, it's an important sector esifuna ukuthi iyakhe imisebenzi. Acacise kancane ukuthi senzani ngalento ye-tourism nokuthi sivusa kanjani indaba ye-tourism. Minister McPherson izake uzawuphendula ngale ndaba ye-EPWP. Ngifuna ukumuzwa kahle uMinister McPherson ukuthi njengomuntu ozalwe la eKZN uye wakwazi ukuthi abe namazwi esiZulu awaziyo na. Uma kungenjalo ngiyomfaka esikolweni, kunesikolo sikaRamaphosa esifundisa abantu isiZulu. That's why nami ngikhuluma isiZulu ngendlela engisikhulumayo. Ngisafunda ke nami. Kodwa sikhona isikolo. It's called the Ramaphosa Zulu Teaching School. Ngizomisa kuso.
Ngiyabonga Mongameli. Sanbonani. Ninjani. Sikhona. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say, I think we must acknowledge the good work that has been done over the last 20 years in EPWP, that it has provided a lifeline, a temporary lifeline to millions of South Africans who have needed to get through very difficult times. But what we've heard and what we hear is that the temporary nature of EPWP often becomes permanent, and people become trapped and stuck in EPWP for up to 10 years, what we heard. And so what we are saying in Public Works and Infrastructure is that EPWP is ripe for reform. It's ripe to become bigger, it's ripe to become better, and it's ripe to become skills-based that gives people opportunity and a pathway to permanent long-term employment. But Mr. President, we also can't get away from the very serious problems that we face in EPWP around a lack of transparency on allocations. Too often we hear from our communities, and we've heard it again here today, that there's not transparency in how allocations are done. They're done somewhere over there, and they are given to friends or family, and they discriminate often against people. So what we want to do is we want to bring greater transparency to EPWP, that you get an EPWP opportunity not because you know someone, but because it is your turn and your opportunity to do so. We also want to say, Mr. President, that when it comes to EPWP, that we have an opportunity to make skills and preparing people for future employment to be a central pillar of a new EPWP. We have begun a listening tour that we are going around the country so people, our South African compatriots, can come and tell us exactly what their experiences have been and what they expect of EPWP to be going forward. And Mr. President and members of the community, I'm convinced that the time for transformation in EPWP is now. The time for reform is now. The time to see how we can bring the private sector to help us and boost the value of EPWP is now. And so we will take the comments that we've heard here today from the community, we will feed it into our listening tour, and when we are ready to present a new, reformed, reimagined EPWP, we will of course bring that to you, Mr. President, but we will also take it to the people of South Africa so that they can buy into it, they understand how allocations are done, how transparency is enforced, how we work with local government, how we work with provincial government, and how we make EPWP ready for the next 20 years of its existence. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much. Okunye esifanele ukuthi sicacise ukuthi EPWP ayifanele ukuthi ixazulule kwabantu on the basis yokuthi uneminyaka engaki na. Noma una 35 uyakwazi ukuthi uthole ithuba ungene ku EPWP. Kudala ngisho lento ukuthi abantu banokucabanga ukuthi no, we are only focusing kulabo abana 16 okanye 18 ukufika ku 35. Nalabo abangaphezulu kwa 35 abangenayo imisebenzi nabo sithi mabathole amathuba ukuthi bakwazi ukungena nabo. Le project yethu ye-EPWP isazokhula, kodwa uminister uyichaza kahle ukuthi sifuna ukuthi ibe transparent, kungabi nalento yokuthi kuzoqashwa abantu abangabangana bakakhansela noma ihlobo zikakhansela, ukuthi leyo transparency kubonakale kahle ukuthi isetshenziswa kanjani. So ingabi iPWP yabangani bami okanye ihlobo zami. So lokho sifuna ukuthi kuphele, and sifuna ukuthi in the new era uminister no deputy minister, Minister McPherson no deputy minister Zikalala, uma beyiqhubha lento ye-EPWP iqhutshwe ngalendlela esifunayo ukuthi abantu bakwazi ukuthola ama-skills. Okunye kulabo abafuna ukuziqalela ama-business wabo, sikwazi ukuthi bancedwe bakwazi ukuqala ama-business wabo kuyo yonke le platform ye PWP. Minister wezindlu sondela ke.
Ngiyabonga mongameli bangibingelele bonke ngezikhundla ezihlukile ngingathathanga isikhathi. Ngicela ukuqala kwi-Ward 78 eMlazi lapho saba nokusha kwemikhukhu mongameli siye saba nama-beneficiary awu-47 esikwaze ukuthi siwalekelele ngomxhaso wethu. Kwamanje sesiappointe ama-contractors awu-4 eMlazi Part 6 Phase 2 ezobheka izindlu ezizoakhiwa eziwu-3,000 eWard 78, Ward 83, Ward 84. eWard 84 ngibuye futhi sinenye iproject ekhona lapha elukuthi ilungisa izindlu elukuthi zakho akudala zinganama foundation. Sina inindi ye 1,000 yawo kodwa into sizoyenza siqale ngama project wokwakha ezu 500. Ngibuye eWard 98 mongameli siqalile lapha sino contractor abahlali bazabe bengazi ukuthi seyizofika. Uyofika ngoJanuary 2025 phansi ko-operation Sukumasake aqala ngezindlu zo-50. Siyazi mongameli ukuthi abantu bakithi bayasho ukuthi kuningi umxhaso abawudingayo kodwa inamba esihamba ngayo ibuye ishiya abanye ngaphansi. Manje ngiyathanda ukuthi kubantu bakithi bangaphela inhliziyo. Endaweni yase Umnini Zone 3 kulapho elukuthi sine planning phase befanele sibheke kuqala ukuthi leyo ndawo ingabe ifanelekile yini ukuthi singakha izindlu na. Sesiqedile siku 90% ye planning la ilukuthi siyakwazi ukuthi sizoqeda siqalise ukwakha eUmnini khona umhlalo okhulume ngayo. Babuye mongameli bakhulume ngezikhukhula eWard 82 neWard 77 ezanzekele ngo2017 no2019. Ezase Ward 77 indawo lesi kuyo elukuthi abahlali babeke khona imijondolo ayifanelekile ukuthi singakha kuyo. Siyasakhuluma nomphakathi sabatshela siyathanda futhi ukugqizelela ukuthi leyo ndawo ayilungele ukuthi abantu bangahlala. Into siyenzayo suhulumeni lo ophetheyo saqala dala silibele sisebenza ngafika kule ndawo siyasabachazela ukuthi sisemsebenzini okuthola indawo sibheke lapha eMlazi precinct eKhathomena ekwaMashu nase-Shall Cross ukuze sikwazi ukuxhasa abantu bakithi kulezo ndawo. eWard 90 last week bengikhona la eThekwini ngihamba kanye nomphathiso wethu uMC wethu emisuduma nomeya siyasafika lapha siyothula sinikeza umlayezo kubahlali ngoba lapho soloko abahlali bebehleli mongameli uke wafika eWard 90 wafika wabathembisa ukuthi sizobalungiselela bayaqwila abantu bakithi baba nenkinga lapha. Into siyenza sesithengile umhlaba eWard 90 siyakwazi ukuthi manje siyoqala uhlelo liyaqala nalo ngoJanuary 2025 besifikile sichazela abahlali ngoba bebesho ukuthi abahlele kwindawo eright yiloko sikwenza kuyi-informal upgrading program. Ngithanda ukusho ukuthi eWard 52 eNanda kuye kwaba nenkinga zabantu abakhubazekileyo sihambile sabakhela izindlu sabanikeza izindlu njengoba sikwenza kuyonke indawo sihamba kuzo. La ngithanda ukusho mongameli nabaphathi ukuthi inkinga sibanayo umphakathi usukuhlukumeza abantu abakhubazekile sesaphoceleka njengomnyango ukuthi masihambe sofaka ama-butler bus ngoba umphakathi uhlukumeza abantu abakhubazekile. Ngiyathanda njengomphathiswa wokuleli sebe ukuthi ngicela abantu bakithi masilekelela sinikeza umxhaso kubantu abakhubazekile masingabuyi sibakhubaze futhi masingahambi siyoba hlukumeza la kuyile ndawo abahlala kuzo masibalekelele sisebenze nawo. Masengigcina mongameli ngithanda ukusho ukuthi sibe nenye program elukuthi abahlali baseThekwini bayiraise uke wavakasha kuzinye indawo bakhuluma nawe ngendaba zama asbestos roof. Inkinga yama asbestos roof ihlukene kabili. Yokuqala kunezindlu zakho before 1994 eyilukuthi zona nama foundation nazo azikho right. Yesibili ukuthi ezinye sizokwazi ukuthi sibikelele sisuse nje kuphela ama roof sifake ama roof alungile. Lokho sesiqalile siqale nge200 kulonyaka mongameli. Okugcina iConopia is one of our biggest projects esifuna ukuthi siyilekelele abahlali baseThekwini. Into esizibophelele kuyo nomphathiswa uDuma ukuthi between manje no 2026 ngoba saakha futhi about 3000 yezindlu eConopia sizoakha 2000 so that sikwazi ukuthi sehlise izinga labantu elikuthi babhalisile eTheku. iTheku inkinga sinayo ukuthi abantu bakithi ababhalisile ngendlela efanele. Sivumelene nomeya ukuthi within 3 months sizolungisa indlela abantu babhalisile so that sikwazi ukuthi masithi sinabantu abawu 10,000 abadinga izindlu eThekwini siba verifyile ngempela ibona abafanele bathola izindlu. Ngiyabonga mongameli.
Siyabonga Minister. Thank you. Siyabonga. As Minister with Tourism is coming up, I would like Minister with Transport, Minister Chris Naeze ngapambili, and then ngizobiza Minister with Health. Normal, there weren't sharp issues, but I do want him to come and explain the one issue. Sengiyamtshela ukuthi ayenzeni uMinister. Minister Delil.
Thank you, Mr. President. All protocols observed. I want to thank Pelani Ngobo for raising a very important issue, Mr. President. We have already exchanged numbers. I gave him my number and we will be meeting soon after this. Mr. President, tourism is a very important sector for this province. It is making a big contribution to your GDP, to the economic growth of the province. And Pelani is right that the tourism sector has gone down in KZN. But we are working hard with the presidential task team and the private sector to rebuild tourism in the province. I've already agreed this morning with Premier Hantule that we will be meeting as a matter of urgency so that we can see how we can work together with the plans of the province to do an aggressive marketing campaign to deal with all the negative perceptions around the province. For the summer season, the Department of Tourism partnered with the private sector. And already we've got 440 private sector tourist attractions that is offering for the summer season discounted deals, discount on accommodation, discount on using their facilities. And I want to encourage all South Africans to look at the Short Left website and you can see all the discount offerings for the summer season. We know that the cost of living is high and we want to help tourists and our local tourists to also have access to affordable tourism offerings in our country. So, Mr. President, we are working hard with the provinces and I will certainly be back soon here with South African tourism, with the private sector. And I want to say thank you in advance for all the tourism staff and officials that will be working over the festive season, because without them, tourism will be nothing. I thank you very much. Siyabonga.
Thank you, Minister Delil. One of the issues, thank you very much. Thank you. Okunye nge-tourism. Niyakhumbula ke ukuthi tourism, Durban has been the holiday mecca of our country. Abantu abaningi kulo lonke leli laseMzansi Afrika bebethi uma befuna kuya ku holiday beze la eThekwini eDurban. Manje tourism yethu yehlile. It has gone down and COVID ayizange isincede kakhulu kodwa umeya wayezosho ukuthi kunamaplan amaningi wokuvusa namahotel amakhulu afana no Maharani, no Elangeni, no Hilton. And laba bama-business izolo basitshelile ukuthi bafuna uku-investa imali engama-billion nama-billion ukuthi bavuse i-tourism. So I'm looking forward to a revival of tourism so that Durban must go back to being the jewel of South African tourism. It must once again become the mecca of tourism yala eMzansi Afrika. So izawufuna ukuthi sisebenze sonke, sebenze kunye, silungise nezindlela. Ekseni, as Minister Chrissy goes towards the microphone, she took me to lendlela eBrogo ewile. Wayefuna ukuthi ngene ngaphansi kuyo. And not that I was terrified to go there, but I was running out of time. They explained ukuthi that bridge, what are they going to do? And she will probably explain that because it is causing a lot of inconvenience for people to travel. And it's a very important road, part of the N2. And we're pleased that our engineers are going to work on the N2 to revive it. Minister Chrissy, please take us through what we're doing on transport.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ngibingelela nonke. Let me start, Mr. President, with the two questions that were raised regarding roads in Ward 96 and Ward 59. With regard to Ward 96, this particular ward has a current contract that is being operated by the city of eThekwini, and that contract is to re-gravel the roads. So I think by the time that contract has concluded, Mr. President, the roads in Ward 96 will be in a better condition. The road in Ward 59, which was raised by one of the ladies who spoke, that road is in an informal settlement, Mr. President, that has not yet been formalized. And it means that the city of eThekwini must first inspect that road and make a decision as to whether they consider it appropriate to upgrade. And that process will go forward to the municipality from this Imbizo. What I can share with everybody who is here is overall the city of eThekwini has a budget of about 6 million rand to re-gravel roads and also to fill potholes. From the side of the National Department of Transport, we are already working closely with the city of eThekwini because we have an agreement to take over some of the access roads that will be joining up with the N2 and the N3, which we are busy upgrading throughout the city of eThekwini. We will also work with the city to ensure that there is better spending on the municipal infrastructure grant so that we can find a situation where the money that is available doesn't go back to National Treasury but is actually used to upgrade the roads. With regard to the serious issue that was raised about appropriate and accessible transport for disabled people. What I would want to report, Mr. President, is that here in the city of eThekwini, we have already recovered 6 of the 7 major railway lines, and on that lines, we are running trains that have special places for those who have disabilities and for wheelchairs. However, we still need to ensure that all our stations are disability friendly, and we are busy with an assessment of all 300 stations that we have upgraded to make sure that they are indeed disability friendly. We are also proposing to the National Association of People Living with Disability that we form a joint task team with Santaco and NTA so that we promote the rights of disabled people within the taxi industry and try and ensure that there is a better approach of that industry towards disabled people. Lastly, Mr. President, let me touch on the bridge down the road here that is causing so much traffic and inconveniencing so many people when they have to go to work or to school in the morning. That road was damaged in the rain that occurred on Tuesday, and as a result, part of the bridge has fallen. It is not a major repair exercise. We have already taken engineers on site, and it is our intention by the end of this month that we will have a temporary solution in place so that over the festive season, traffic will be able to move in both directions. In February next year, after we have done some manufacturing, we will install special steel pieces underneath the bridge to strengthen the bridge on a permanent basis until such time as we are engaged in a major road widening exercise of this particular road as part of the N2 and the N3 upgrades. Before I sit down, Mr. President, I just want to make a request to everybody here. We are going into the festive season, and we want to have a special focus on road safety. In that special focus on road safety, one of the things we want to do is to reduce fatalities of both pedestrians, passengers, and drivers. And we will make a very big appeal to this audience. Please don't drink and drive. Please don't drive and speed. Please don't drink and leave the tavern and walk down the middle of a road, because half of the fatalities we have every year are of pedestrians. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Minister. Sesizawuqeda ke manje. What I was impressed about this morning was how we have such good engineers who have told me that they are going to lift the bridge, which has now gone down a little bit with a number of centimeters, and lift the whole bridge with ijek, niyayibona ijek elifta imoto, to lift the concrete, to level it out completely. I was very impressed that we have such outstanding engineers in this country. Masishayele izandla ama-engineers ethu, because they are very good. Now we are going towards the end, because, Minister, you can go and sit down. Because I always prefer ukuthi we must finish our Imbizos by 4 o'clock, because people have to travel far. And we are now going to have Minister Mutsaledi and Minister Majodina who will come and explain about water, and then I will go towards conclusion so that the program directors can then take us to the close of our Imbizo, which has been wonderful. Minister Motsoaledi, the one issue you wanted to raise.
Yeah, ngiyabonga Mongameli. Sanibonani. Mina president ngisafundi grade 1 ya Ramaphosa School.
Uze ku Ramaphosa Zulu Learning School.
Yeah, ngiyenze
Safundisa
grade
kahle.
1. Yeah. Kodwa there's only one question, President. Bathi bafuna isibhedlele lapha. Ngisocela udade wami uMEC noma Gugu ayikhulumise lento. Usobatshela ukuthi thina ku health sithini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No makuku. Uno MEC wako.
Siyabonga kakhulu Mongameli, sibingelele kongqongqoshe, sibingelele kundunankulu, sibingelele nomphakathi. Sanibonani?
Yebo.
Niyaphila?
Yebo.
Phambili ngentuthuko phambili. Phambili ngentuthuko phambili. Siyabonga kakhulu Mongameli, umbuzo wethu ubuodwa nje wokuthi la eManzimtoti bacela isibhedlela. Kuyiqiniso ke Mongameli ukuthi isibhedlela esiseduze iPrince Mshiyeni, which is 30 kilometers away. Sikhona esinye futhi esiseduze okuyi GJ Crooks, but in a different municipality, and that's 16 kilometers away. Kodwa eThekwini Mongameli sinezibhedlela ezu20 in total. Okwenza ukuthi kube nzinyana ukuthi sithi sizokwazi ukwakha isibhedlela. Kodwa ngixoxile nongqongqoshe wezempilo ubaba uDokotela uMthwaleli, savumelana ukuthi sizokwakha lolu hlelo oluncane silibiza ngokuthi iCHC okuyisibhedlela esincane. So in the next year ubaba uMthwaleli uzosiza ukuthi sithole imali sikwazi ukuthi sakhe leso sibhedlela la eManzimtoti, so that abantu bangahambi indlela ende kakhulu. Sicela ke kodwa Mongameli nathi njengomnyango wezempilo Macingwane sisebenza kakhulu kahle namaphoyisa akho. Emlazi njengomnyango wezempilo nathi si affected icrime. Sicela usifake nje lapha kulela tulo okadulisho ngoba abasebenzi bezempilo uma bephuma ngeemoto ziyabanjwa, ziyadunwa, bathathelwa imoto, bagcine bengasakwazi ukusebenza. Siyabonga kakhulu Mongameli.
Siyabonga. Uminister Majodina, siyabonga siswethu nomakuku. Uminister Majodina will touch on the issue of water, because udaba lwamanzi yona inkinga enkulu kulo lonke leli lase South Africa kodwa nalapha eKZN. So uzothi qaba lapho ngento yamanzi and then achaze ukuthi senzani.
Enkosi kakhulu Mongameli, molweni ntenteni. Nanso ke umphakathi wase South Africa uyakhula, umphakathi wase KZN uyakhula, umphakathi wase Thekwini uyakhula, amanzi ayadingeka. Ngokuthunywa uMongameli siyakha amadami amakhulu ingakumbi apha eThekwini. Izolo bendiselo wa uMkhomazi. Pa elowa uMkhomazi sine project ye 8.2 billion eza kwenza into basitsala amanzi kulowa uMkhomazi swenyusele apha phezulu. Ndiyaqonda abantu baphaya bawuyibonile esa structure with good engineers. Sizawatsala amanzi siwafake phaya ze siwasuse phaya angene ebantwini. Kodwa kwelinye icala sokha idami elokwaphaya elowa Mkhomazi. Xa kune drought sizawutsala amanzi thina ahlale kwela dam. Ela dam ligcina amanzi for 4 months kune drought. Xa umlambo wehlile amanzi ehlile izinga sizawususa amanzi ngenxa ye-engineers eziphuma izandla. Sawususa amanzi phaya kwela dam siwabuyisele emlanjeni, asuke emlanjeni anyuke, siyaqhuba nje qha asimanga. Okwesibini kule veke ngapha kwale phelileyo ngolesihlanu ndandiphaya eHazelmere apho senyuse khona idami ngo-13 meters into yoba malenyuke linike more capacity to uNonkosi apha eThekwini kunye nakwaDukuza kwenzela into yoba amanzi njengoba efuneka kakhulu sibe namanzi akwicapacity eyoneleyo siyonyusile ke nge-865 million sayinikezela state of the art sikhompyutha ne-world alikho idama elinjeya silibiza into yoba yipiano way lihamba kanje okwamapiyano lehlisa amanzi kanje ehlatha amanzi ehla kanje angene ebantwini amanzi uyavuma noNonkosi ama-tourists sithi mawasondele kwela dami azobona ubuhle apha Mkhomazi nayo siyayokha kodwa kubalulekile ndichaza into yoba oko kungena uNonkosi apha kuqhutywa ngamandla i-leaks zivaliwe nani bahlali ndifuna ukunicela amanzi xa ubona ithaya ibhestile reporter ungashiya amanzi evuza etepini vala itep ungasebenzisa uhosepipe xa kushushu kakhulu phaa kwa-Ward 84 utata uthi ushotelwa nje ikhilomitha eyi-1 kutsalwa amanzi Nonkosi uba ngabe inkinga ikhona khuluma nje sikhona sikuncede umngeni water ukhona la sofaka amanzi 1 kilometer hawu akuselutho lokho siyabulela
Inkosi. Siyabulela yonke leyo nto. Okay. Ngifuna ke ukuthi siyoqeda umsebenzi wethu. Ngifuna nje into eziningi sizikhulumile. Kuneyodwa ye-Ithala Bank which was raised. Ngifuna nje ukuthi uMinister we-Finance would have answered this question, but he had to rush off. MEC Zondi raised it with us very strongly yesterday, and the matter of Ithala Bank is being addressed. It's not an easy one, it's a very complex issue that has to do with the Prudential Authority that looks at the functioning of our banks. So that matter is being addressed, and the Minister is going to interact once more with the province, with the MEC Zondi and all the other MECs, including the Premier. So this matter is under thorough discussions. I want to end on what is now a measure of sadness in our country. And I do want us, as I finish, to observe this moment of great sadness. We have, in the past few weeks, lost a number of school children who have died as a result of some chemical that has been found in the food or the snacks that they have been eating and buying from spaza shops. Now, this matter is being addressed. It's being addressed at the highest level. It's being raised by a number of our parents, our people, and I fully understand the concern, and we join those families who have lost their children. It is very painful for a parent to lose a child who is either 6, 8, or 12 years old, and so on. So we join those families and pass our condolences to them. And much of this is happening as a result of reckless and negligent actions on the part of unscrupulous spaza shops. They are keeping dangerous chemicals on premises where they are selling food. And the police have already arrested some people in this regard. And at the government level, Our departments are seized with this matter. Department of Kokta, Minister Hlabisa is working on this, and the proclamation that regulates spaza shops, the licensing of spaza shops has been approved and has been promulgated. But we are also looking at this matter from an agricultural point of view. Minister Steenhuisen, I've directed him to do a proper research with regards to these chemicals in terms of our law, and that is being addressed. The Minister of Police is also seized with this matter, and we are working round the clock to enable us to look very closely at the incidents that have been happening. The Minister of Health is also seized with this matter and has requested a number of agencies that do testing of these various chemicals from a health point of view. Now, all these matters are going to be fully addressed in this coming week, and I will be able to then make a statement on how we are going to deal with this matter to enable us to ensure that no further children die needlessly in our country. So this matter is being handled at the highest level, and we've got our various departments and agencies working round the clock on this matter, and I've directed that I should get reports as soon as possible so that we can take action to prevent further deaths of the young people in our country. And at the same time, I would say to us as parents, let us take care, ensure that our children only get food from places that we regard as safe places. But we will be coming out with a very clear directive and a clear direction on this matter. I would like us then to pay our respects to those children who have passed away needlessly. Let us stand up and observe a moment of silence. Pass our condolences to the families of the children, parents of the children also who have lost their loved ones, and also to give respect to the loss of the lives that we have had. I'd like some quiet now. Let us all stand still, stop movement, ohambayo magame lapha mekhona, so that we show our respect for these young children who have passed away. Thank you very much. We may be seated. Ngifuna ukugcina ngokuthi, as I end, I think we have held a fairly productive Imbizo session. I am sorry that we didn't start off as well as we wanted to with the technical difficulties that we had. I just want to say to all of us in the government system and sector, we must prepare ourselves better for these types of Imbizos, so that when there is failure with the sound system, there must immediately be plan B. We spend a lot of money to hold an Imbizo, so we cannot get to a point where the Imbizo becomes disorganized, because our people, you all come here, nifuna ukuzwa ukuthi uhulumeni uthini, both at national, provincial and local level. Ngithanda ukubonga kakhulu ukuthi today has also been a clear demonstration of how our government of national unity is also working. And I have ministers of the government of national unity from our various political parties that are part of the government of national unity. And I'd like to thank them all. And I want all our parties in the GNU to see the value of these Imbizos. Imbizos are important because they enable us to interact with our people and hear their views and answer their questions, but at the same time, follow up on the issues that they have raised. There may well be many other issues that could have been covered here, but we have run out of time. I'm told that a storm may be making its way to this area. So I'd like to thank you because I think we've had a very good Imbizo, and as I said earlier, yona Imbizo yokuqala ku-7th administration. Siyanibonga nonke abantu baseThekwini ukuthi siqale ngani. Nibaluleke kakhulu. No Premier nama MECs bazawubuya bazobamba imbizo zabo. Bazawuqhubeka ngomsebenzi esiwenzayo. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Nikwazi ukuhamba kahle uma niye emakhaya. Ngiyabonga.
Sishayele umongameli ihlombe. Tata mongameli tata. Halala mongameli halala. Sibonga kakhulu kumongameli Ndunankulu nongqongqoshe bonke. Sesifike ekugcineni asime kancane bafowethu. Singaqale siphume khona sizophuma ngendlela ehlelekile. Sibonga kakhulu ukubekezela kwenu umphakathi waseThekwini, abakhosi nomphakathi wonke. Sibonge kakhulu mongameli nongqongqoshe bakho ixazululo abafike nazo. Sicela ke kuleli thuba uMinister of Women, Youth and People Living with Disability, Minister Chikunga, ukuthi eze phambili ezosibongela. Emva kwalokho sonke siyoma ngeenyawo sidedele umongameli nabaholi baphume. Sibonga kakhulu.
Halala KZN halala. Eitha eThekwini eitha. Ngibonge kakhulu mphathi wohlelo. Eyami ukuzobonga konke osekwenzekile. Kodwa mhlambe ngiqale ngokusho ukuthi kwabaphila nokukhubazeka kusukela ngomhla ka3 November kuya kumhla ka3 December inyanga la sibuka khona amalungelo abo, sikhuphule iawareness kubantu base South Africa. Siqalileke kusasa ngomsombuluko siyobe siyoyilontsha lenyanga. Kodwa futhi izolo uDeputy Minister wethu uSteve Litsike ubekhona la eThekwini ehlangene nabo. Sesikhuluma ngetechnology mongameli, artificial technology. Yenza umuntu onenkinga mhlambe yokungezwa athe ekhuluma lana kube kwi-screen sakhe se-cellphone kube kubhaleka leyo nto ekhulumayo ukuze angasali emuva. Sicabanga ukuthi njengezwe kufanele sikhuphule le ndaba. Sikhuphulile futhi indaba yokuqashwa kwabo kuhulumeni besiku 2%, sesithi 3% manje. Siyoyibheka phakathi kuhulumeni kusukela phansi siye naku private sector ngoba mongameli thina eyethi mandate ayipheleli kuphela kuhulumeni, iya naku private sector naku civil society. Siyobuka ukuthi abantu abanokukhubazeka bayabukeleleka ababaningi. Uma singamitha lama requirements abaningi babo bangasebenza ngoba bafundile vele. Ake ngibuye ke mongameli ngizobonga lomsebenzi omuhle omangalisayo. Selokhu imbizo ziqalile ukhuphula izinga lazo isikhathi nesikhathi. Lokhu kokuthi manje ufika uvalele endlini ominister kanye necabinet yaleyo province yenza ukuthi by the time sifika sewukhulumile kodwa inkinga sesiyazazi siyancoma siyabonga mongameli izolo lokho kudlule bewulapha eKing Shaka uhamba nominister uBarbara Chrissy niyovula lokho esithi phecelezi istatue senkosi yamabandla yakhothama ilembele xamanye amalembe ngokukhalipha ngikhuluma mina ngoteku lwabafazi bakaNomgabhi betekula behleze emloveni bethi uShaka kaye ukubusa kaye ukuba nkosi kanti la ezawunethezeka ubulapho usikhumbuza ukuthi uyabona amagugu ethu aku-constitution sinelungelo lokucelebrate amaqhawe kithi othe dlezinye wadlezinye wathe sedlezinye wadlezinye wathe dlezinye wadlezinye inkosi uShaka okubizwa ngayo esinye seyikhungo zethu esikhulu eThekwini i-airport eyakhiwe uhulumeni wademocracy siyabonga president kanti futhi ubuhlangene nabasomabhizinisi njengoba bekhala ngemsebenzi ukuthi abeze bazokwakha imisebenzi eThekwini siyabonga angibonga ubukhosi ngibonge ukuthi bayahlanganisa lento esishoyo bahlanganisa abantu ubukhona babo buyasijabulisa sibonga ubukhosi bezenkolo siyabonga ukuthini sinikeza indlela nomhlahlandlela osisa phambili ngibonge umeya waseThekwini siphatheke kahle kulo metro selokhu sifikile sekukuhle eThekwini liklini iTheku siyakubonga lokho siyabonga premier ngomsebenzi onwenzayo siyabonga mholi wasomabhizinisi begovernment ubaba usiboniso Duma sibonga umsebenzi omuhle owenzayo wenza sure ukuthi amabhizinisi ayenzeka la eThekwini ngibonga oza kwethu minister no deputy minister kunakho konke siyanibonga mphakathi ngomuhle benu uyazi niphathe kahle ngendlela emangalisayo zange kube nesiphithiphithi siyabonga kakhulu okugcina sibonga program director sibonga nonibongayo ngiyabonga
Awu sesibongiwe bakwethu siyobe sathini masukumeni sonke sidedele ubuholi umongameli siyabonga mongameli siyabonga halala president Ramaphosa halala sifisa ukubonga kumongameli sibonge Bulawayo nawe njengomholi kwikhokta sinibonge nonke uyabona ke lo mcimbi uhambe kahle kakhulu ngibonga amakhosi asendlunkulu njengoba senibongiwe bebekhona nabafana bendawo la bonile oGabisa noDuma hayi bekukuhle bakwethu akuyosetshenzwa nihambe kahle nonke siyabonga